I think, Dana, you're familiar with Anthony Michael Hall.
Of course.
Grew up with him.
Mm-hmm.
I was sort of very similar to him in twerpiness and skinniness and nerdiness. And so I really related to these movies. We're around the same age. So growing up, watching 16 Candles, of course, all the hits he had, Breakfast Club, and they were just pumping out. He has lots. He has
Weird Science.
Yeah, a lot of stuff to talk about.
Big career. And he was on a Saturday Night Live cast member at the age of 17, youngest ever, in 1985 with Robert Downey Jr. and Randy Quaid. Met Madonna. So we go over that with our friend.
Yeah, I think Eddie Murphy's the youngest, but it is Anthony Michael Hall, youngest. And he also loves Eddie Murphy. He grew up watching those comedy specials like we did. So lots to talk about. SNL. I was with Chevy Chase on Vacation, another monster hit. And he's got Trigger Warning coming out on Netflix, which is an action comedy. I mean, just an action movie with Jessica Alba, who we like, who we should come on here. I don't know why. I don't even know if she's hosted, but I like her.
That'd be great. But season 3 of Reacher, he's
Reacher. He's all over that.
Playing the heavy for season 3. I believe that's Amazon Prime or Amazon.
And so we get into Stanley Kubrick. He talked to on the phone. We get in a lot of cool stuff.
He was in Full Metal Jacket. He's worked with everybody. He's part of the Brat Pack. He doesn't make a fuss about it, but there's that famous era with Emilio Estevez.
Everyone's sort of resistant about being in the Brat Pack. I guess it just sounds negative or something.
Well, you were called the Bad Boys, weren't you, Sam?
Oh yeah, the Bad Boys of SNL, and that's like it just sounds. I get why they think it sounds dumb. I don't know why, but
I remember seeing a best of the Bad Boys, and why are they the Bad
Boys? I don't know why. We all came in together. And we were all idiots. And I don't mind that, but it's not quite as big as the Brat Pack. There's the Rat Pack, which people know is what is that? Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra and Joey Bishop.
Well, yeah.
And then that's how they came up with the Brat Pack, right?
Yeah, and then they used to call the Rat Pack. They used to call them the Six Pack because they drank so much.
Oh, and then they called that rapper Two Pack. Yeah, okay.
Because he would get 2 beers only.
Yeah, he only had 2 beers, I guess. All right. Well, here's Anthony.
And Michael also, Hall. I have a 12 pack, but it's not drinking. It's my stomach. But anyway, Anthony Michael Hall is a hell of a nice guy. It was the first time I ever got to talk to him, and
now all the hot actors have the pussy posse. Anyway, we're gonna cut to this. I'll come back and explain that
at the end. I do Dennis Miller a few times in her because it made Anthony laugh so much that at the end I said, "Love you, babe." So you'll hear me say "Love you, babe" to Anthony Michael.
And it's so weird. Okay, you have to wait till the end.
Anthony Michael Hall.
Wait for it. Yeah, Anthony Michael Hall.
Hey guys.
Hey.
Anthony. Yeah.
How are you,
Tony?
We're better now. We got you on. This is awesome, man.
Great to be with you both, man. I'm big fans.
Jeez Louise. I've been studying your career. It's pretty extraordinary.
Yeah, goddamn.
Come and get some.
Come and get some.
Oh, no, you know that one? Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I love it. Honest to God, guys, I'm a huge fan of both of you. It's an honor to be.
Let me just do one so people have never heard of. I'm Red. This is a redneck comedian. I'm Redneck, the redneck comedian. I married my sister only because mama turned me down. Come and get some.
Come and get some.
Jesus.
Oh, man. Where's SNL? We need it. We got to get that character on SNL.
Shit, get that thing going. That's got legs.
Yeah, man.
Anthony Michael Hall. What has not he done?
Let's start it right now and then go back.
Yeah.
3rd season of Reacher, which I love that show, and that guy is jacked. He's Jack Reacher, and he's an awesome actor. So you're playing the villain or the whatever in that 3rd season. So that's pretty cool. That's 20, 24, 25. Now let's go back to
15.
You became a superstar at 12. What took you so long? What took you so long? How many years did you
get some? I was counting my pubes coming to get some.
I was, Spade. Yeah, what was the question? I'm sorry, guys. I
No,
missed it.
We have no questions.
We have no questions. Great.
We only have
Long.
answers. We know at 13 you broke out with National Lampoon Vacation. So
right.
You worked with Chevy Chase and you survived it. That's a joke,
Right.
Chevy.
Well, do you audition for that? Is it a cattle call? Are you already doing stuff, or what?
I did, yeah. No, I remember I auditioned for the late great Harold Ramis and Maddie Simmons. Who had
Oh,
founded
what a stud!
Yeah, man, and it was a great experience. So next thing you know, we're on the road, man. And that crew, we actually started the project in LA. We shot that scene where we pick up the car with the great Eugene Levy, and then we hit the road, man. And then the whole crew, we flew to Colorado, and then we worked our way back. We kind of saw half the country together. And then we went to Arizona, and then wound up in LA. But yeah, great project that got it all started for me as a kid. And John Hughes had actually written that, guys, and I didn't meet him on that project. I didn't meet him till I did 16 Candles. But just incredible working with him, Eugene Levy, and the great John Candy. I mean, so many people I just looked up to, man. It was a great experience.
Holy shit.
That movie is a classic. I mean, it for sure, it kind of tilted comedy. Those comedies of the 80s, you know, how do you describe them? They're just fun.
Yeah.
Just
Thank
fun.
you, man. No, it was great to be a part of it. You know, it really was. John Candy was great. I loved him. I'm sure you guys worked with him, right? Did you work with John?
I never saw John Candy in real life. Did you, Dana?
I didn't. I just loved him from afar. I thought
Yeah.
I loved SCTV. I thought his it's kind of a cliche, but his pathos, his empathy it was just pretty stout. I mean, what was early onset, the one with Steve Martin. Those aren't
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yeah. His speech at the end when they're saying goodbye. Steve Martin told us just here a few months ago. It was kind of the greatest acting he'd ever witnessed.
I think he said it was really a lot longer too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's the heart of that film, isn't it? It's about friendship and how they just really embrace each other. Those aren't pillows.
Yeah,
those aren't pillows. Steve Martin, but
he was such a joy to be around, man. He really was Uncle Buck. You know, he was a great guy. Do you guys remember on SCTV back in the day they would do the Schmengi brothers? He and Eugene Levy.
Yes.
The Schmengi brothers, Josh and Stan Schmengi. You know. So I remember him joking with. Yeah, he would joke with me. He said, "Mike, you're an honorary Schmengi. I'm going to call you Linsk Schmengi. Very nice, Linsk."
What a blast! Have a huge star.
You're 13. You've got John Hughes, who developed this great film history thing together, and then you're with all these superstars, and you're 13, and they're funny, and they're
Chevy was probably a blast though, because he was a superstar.
He was, man. He was a lot of fun. I mean, a different mindset, different. You know, he's very sarcastic and snarky, but that's Chevy, man. You got to just adapt and.
He's a ball buster. Yeah,
he's a ball buster.
He came on here and busted our balls for an hour and a half.
Oh, he loves saying what you're not supposed to say. What you're not supposed to say, he has to say. And sometimes it gets him in trouble. But once you know that is his sense of humor, saying out loud what you're not supposed to say, it just gets funnier and funnier. But yeah, he busted our balls pretty good. I'll tell you that, man. He came and got
broke them balls. Yeah. Well, I had a great time with him on Community too. I did Community about, I don't know if that's 10 years ago.
Oh, you did? You're the one that had the great time with him?
We can sidebar those stories, Spade. No, absolutely. I had a great time. I really did. I mean, I guess he ran into some issues on that show. I got to be careful here.
Well, listen, we had fun with him. I mean, I think it's just, I'm sure there's people that, you know, I rub wrong or Dana rubs wrong. You know, it's just a way of life and acting and stress and all this shit you do and different things. But I don't know. He cracks me up. He'll always be a guy on SNL and Vacation, all that stuff. So he's already okay for me.
He said to us toward the end, like, and it was just, we were laughing at this point at everything he said. He goes, "Well, I had like a way, way bigger career than you guys, right?" And we're like, "Yeah, of course you did." And then he's completely a puppy dog, you know?
Right.
Never get defensive with him. Always say yes.
Just take the beating.
Right. No, I'm with you because he tries to throw you off balance, but that is just his way. It's his way of measuring. It's like a boxer measuring punches. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Vacation is super. That's not Holiday Row. Is that one?
Yeah, that was the first one.
My head.
No, that was.
Oh my God, that's a song.
And then they kept changing the kids, which kind of became part of the running joke.
Oh yeah, when did you go into that machine that switched you into a different kid?
Well, ironically, what happened was because I started working with John. I did the trilogy of films. I did 16 Candles with John. So I went to Chicago, and then we went right into Breakfast Club and Weird Science right after that. So in a period of 2 years, I'd done 3 films with John. It was amazing.
Weird Science.
Wow. And who was what? Was it Kelly Brock? Who was in
it was Kelly LeBrock. Let's look at the poster.
Kelly LeBrock. Yeah, she was lovely. And you guys were
dang.
Just incredibly perfect nerds, just like, I don't know.
Come on, Chet. Come on, Chet.
Just right before I know you did a few things and then you do this, like, it is a little savant-y to be that good, that natural, that loose in a movie. It's not normal. So did you just weren't nervous because it just was happening, or how were you so good, so young?
First of all, let me enjoy that compliment from Dana Carvey. That was very
soak
nice.
it in.
Come and get some. But it's absolutely, it's from the heart.
He probably, you know what? He probably doesn't even know it. He's just good. And it's just like, why is everyone making a fuss over this? I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do.
Guys, honestly, I love and look up to you both, man. I was just a goofy kid, man. When I was growing up, I was listening to Van Halen and the Police, but I loved George Carlin and Pryor. They were my heroes. So I would listen to those old albums. Then later I studied and learned about Lenny. I guess I just had an appetite for comedy. I'd never done stand-up, but I just loved comics. So really, like Carlin and Pryor were heroes of mine. And I guess I was one of those kids. It's like the beginning of that old classic Eddie Murphy concert movie, Raw, when he was performing for his family. I was that kid, man. I'd do funerals and weddings. I'd get up there and imitate my uncles and aunts and, just kind of have
you
a
were
good...
just,
I think you kind of deadpanned it where you were just playing very real. You weren't like swinging for the fences. And that was part of how good it was. You were just like really this kid. And I guess it was based kind of on John Hughes's life, but I'm sure you're not trying to emulate that because you don't know what that is. But just to be like you kind of look goofy. You're saying goofy things, but you're doing it all straight and trying to get these hot chicks. It's all funny.
Maybe you've had this later at various times.
It was me.
But you can have a director, wasn't David, who might resent you a little bit, is busting your balls, maybe kind of pressuring the actor a little bit. So it seems like with John Hughes, I'm just assuming he just made you feel really good, let you be playful, or what was the working process?
You're right on.
Like?
You're right on the mark with that, Dana. He really was. He was great. I mean, look, he was so talented as a writer-director. There was always funny stuff on the page for everybody. I'm sure it's like that when you've worked with Adam, who I love, David. The scripts are always funny. So we would always kind of do 2 or 3 takes for John, and then he would just be like, yeah, whip it out. Like, do something else. Try something else. So what he did for me, he did for all of us.
Come and get some.
Come and get some. He was really he was very lucid that way, very open to suggestions. And I think that was one of his great talents too, man. He had a gift, obviously, as a writer-director, but he was also really cool and he would allow things to happen. And I think that sort of empathy and that sort of understanding of letting things develop was part of his genius too. I really do.
Did he didn't overshoot then? Like, I had a director one, like so many angles, like you're actually exhausted. You come in at 8 a.m. and they get to your money shot at 6 o'clock that night. Right. Was he more facile moving masters, 2 shots? I know the lingo.
Yeah, you do, sir. Yeah, no, he was. He moved quickly. He did. He didn't until we did something like The Breakfast Club, which was kind of like filming a play. But to your point, Dana, he kept
it was contained.
Contained, right.
Yeah, Breakfast Club was contained. Now, sometimes I've been on sets with people where they go, just go crazy and do whatever you want. This is the last one because mostly I'm doing just comedy. And some people with different backgrounds are very good, but you're going to get the same performance on every take. And they don't know when they say do whatever you want. They go, no, this is the way it's supposed to be done. And they don't take advantage of that. And I wonder, like on Breakfast Club, you're a kid, first of all. Like the fact that you could even improv is kind of shocking. And then I guess everyone was loose enough to go with whatever.
Right. And it's also what Dana said too, David. You're right on with that. He was just cool like that. He had an empathy. Like he considered all of our performances and roles a collaboration. So we would often sidebar with him and talk throughout the process. And the other thing he did, which was really cool, he always sat right next to the camera. Like if you've seen the old documentaries on Fellini or any of these great directors, be right there. And John was like that, man. When we pour our hearts out at the end and we're all sitting in a circle, he would literally be next to the lens, just like the first, like the camera puller, not the focus puller, and he was always right there in the mix with us. So, it had a lot to do with I think he saw it all as a work in progress and kept it very fluid that way, which was cool.
Yeah, well, whatever he captured was magic because there's a looseness and a sweetness to that. Those John Hughes movies of the 80s. The guy is so talented. I'm just going to ask you quickly about, well, Molly Ringwald was incredibly likable and natural in that movie. And Emilio Estevez, Judd Nelson as the badass.
Yeah,
kind of must have been fun for him. Ali Sheedy, and I know there's more Brat Pack. I don't want to dive into this yet, but those were your co-stars in that movie. You got anything that'll trend for us?
Yeah, no, listen, I saw them recently. We did a signing. I do these, Comic-Con signings. I've been doing them for years. They're a lot of fun. So I travel the country, and we did one recently in Pittsburgh, and it was a little bit of a reunion. So I saw Allie, I saw Molly, and I saw Judd.
How fun. You do them together? That's even better.
It was cool, man. It was really fun.
People
to see
freak
them.
out.
Yeah. And Judd has so much Bender in him. He's a super intelligent guy, really funny, but very kind of manic too. He's always got great stories, and he's a lot of fun. So we all actually got together for dinner, except for Allie, because Allie's in bed early every night, so she didn't join us. But Molly, her husband, and I, and Judd, and some friends got together.
Because Allie has dandruff in her hair.
Yeah.
Is that still there? So when you sign up to join the Brat Pack, is it a lot of paperwork? Is it
By the way, are you in the documentary that's either out or coming out about the Brat Pack?
No. I've met Andrew at a bunch of these signings and work situations. He's a great guy. Yeah, I just chose not to. I like to look forward. That's my thing. But listen, I heard it was cool, and he's a nice guy. He's carved out a really cool career for himself. He directs a lot of TV, and he's a writer. And obviously,
was he in any with you? I can't even remember.
No, I didn't do any with him. The core group went on to do St. Elmo's, but I wasn't at the time.
Oh, right, St. Elmer's Fudd.
And who is in the Brat Pack? Can we name them? Who is the Brat?
I know who's officially who's
Emilio.
I think Emilio, Rob Lowe, Judd.
Yeah, I'll give them that. Okay, I'll give those
but all
guys.
those
They earned their stripes.
They were all older than I, so I was still in high school.
Molly.
Get out of school.
Mm-hmm.
Was Chet? Come on, Chet.
No, I don't think Paxton was
Bill
named
Paxton.
there.
How funny! No, he was a bad guy.
Yeah,
he was Bill Paxton. Loved him.
Me too.
Fucking weird science doesn't. It does get enough credit. I hate when people say that about my movies. You know what one I actually liked? It's like, shut the fuck up. It's good. Weird Science was great. Kelly LeBrock was unreal. Every kid loved it. Every kid was a nerd like me at my school. We're like exactly right up our alley. We're around the same age. I just go, this is great. Right. Always had cool music. All those Pretty in Pink. I still hear those songs on the radio. It just reminds me of all that. All good memes. And then you get now you're still a little twerp, and then you get on SNL.
Well, but before that, let's just say
before that Dana had one thing
that you turned down.
Oh yeah, the turning down the balls of
Ferris
this guy.
Bueller's Day Off and Pretty in Pink, and you just were a confident young man. Do you have any regrets, or that you?
No. Do you know what it was, guys? At that point, and this is something I expressed to John. I had done those films, and I think that I just wanted to try something different, man. I just wanted to move forward. I was
you were a wily veteran at 16. Yeah. It was time to move on.
No, I get it. Like they're all kind of not the same, but it's a version.
No, I got it. Yeah,
vision. Yeah.
Well, you're betting on your talent. You're just saying, no, this is not all I do, and so you never really got stuck in that. And then you got matured. You grew up, and Okay, so you turned those down, and John Hughes was heartbroken, or how was it, or was he mellow? He understood. He's like,
I think he might have been. Yeah, I think he was hurt by that, and I'm so sorry for that. That's the only regret that I have, because actually, after he had passed away, years later, I got a call from Joel Silver, who had actually produced the film with us for us, and he's a great guy too. Joel's still active, and he had mentioned that to me. He thought that maybe that John obviously was hurt by that, and I feel really bad for that. But on the upside, the good news is that the last time I actually spoke to John, guys, I think it was 1988 or 89. John called me with John Candy on the phone, and we just kind of shot the shit and hung out for a couple hours, and that was pretty great, man. So I love John.
I like that Joel Silver takes time out of his day to say, I know he just passed away, but he was kind of mad about one thing.
Yeah.
You're like, that's cool. Thank you.
Just so I'm clear.
We were kind of tagging up on the timing of his death, and it was a nice call, but yeah, it was kind of random.
I just need to know: were you going to be the Matthew Broderick character or the sidekick for Ferris?
Yeah, he wrote the broader character for me, and then I felt like with the Pretty in Pink role that John Cryer did, and those guys are great, man. Got to wish anybody success, but I just feel like I had done that. It seemed like the same paradigm as 16 Candle, the same kind of story, So, but that being said, we had a great time, man. And I think hopefully it shows on camera.
Well, when you're with John Hughes, kind of his record was kind of like 100%, right? I don't even know if all the movies are great. So when you're with a writer director, and you already did 3 classics, so I kind of see where maybe it was a smart thing in a way to do that.
Yeah, it's like saying you're not going to get as much credit if it works because those are already stamped out that you're really good at them, and then you go, but if I try like something like even SNL or something else different, that's so out of left field that you go, let's see what I can do here probably.
Will you walk us through then? So you're this movie star, you're doing this. I guess you're 17, and you have your people, agents or managers, you're huddling, you're thinking, and then how do you get on Saturday Night Live at 17, beat Eddie Murphy by 2 years?
Yeah. Eddie was a hero of mine, and I was literally in my mother's apartment 2 years before watching him every weekend. I loved it. And, I just got a call after I had done those films. I got a call from Lauren's office, and it was just a direct offer. And to be honest, guys, I accepted. And then I remember walking around the city for a month or two before we started. I was basically shitting my pants because I couldn't believe I had committed to it. Because it just meant so much to me growing up. It really did. In the 70s, as a little kid, I would ask my mother to stay up late, and I would watch the show. And I just loved everybody from the original cast all the way up through Eddie and Joe Piscopo and those days. And, truthfully, 85, 86 season was one of the worst, if not maybe in 50 years of the show. But with that said, it wasn't
your fault.
We're number one.
Well, you guys know when you guys broke out, you were huge stars on SNL. But the doing of the show is such a thrill. So even if you don't have a great breakout character or a sketch, just the visceral feel of it. It's like rock and roll theater, stand up.
Oh, yeah.
Fun, So it's incredible experience. And
you get all the stress, but not all the notoriety. You get all the hard part of SNL. You just don't get like the blow. Yeah. But there must have been good sketches that year. You have Robert Downey. Was it Terry Sweeney? You have a lot of people that are talented. So you're going to stumble into a winner now and then. I just think people blanketly say that was a bad year, and that's a tough thing to have.
Yeah, it was. And also at the end of the year, there was a sketch where I think all the cast was set ablaze. And the only ones that were saved.
I watched that live going, what is going on? So explain
the only ones that were saved were John Lovitz, who I've seen on your show. He's hilarious with you guys. I love Lovitz. And I think Nora Dunn, and everybody else was just like, don't worry about it. We'll let them burn.
So weird.
Did you know ahead of time that you were going to go into this ritual fire that meant that you were not coming back?
I kind of didn't, but I also had a unique deal that Lauren was kind enough to help facilitate. I was doing a movie in the same year called Out of Bounds, which was my first, step in a new direction as a young actor.
Okay.
And so I didn't do a whole season, even though I brought Downey to Lauren, and Downey did the whole season. I did, I think, 13 of 18 or.
Oh,
13.
okay.
Oh, you can't even take the whole beginning of that year.
Right.
You go, I'll come back for the fire, and that's it.
Right, exactly. But it was an abbreviated season. But nonetheless, as you guys know, man, it's just the doing of the show is incredible. It's hard to put words to it, But also, people don't understand how much work is involved. It's a 6-day-a-week job, man. You're working your ass off.
Oh, it's gross. Yeah.
Oh, and you're going live in 36 hours. It shouldn't exist. It's ridiculous. It's that's why no one else does it. Was Lovitz, because that was John's, who's a good friend of us. Breakout year. That's The Liar was the sort of catchphrase killer year. What was it like?
I remember being at Brillstein Gray on Broadway, guys. I don't know if Lauren held auditions. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember Lovitz coming in and he did The Liar and it just killed. People loved it. And I've heard you guys talk when you had him on the show about his booming voice. Like he had that whole thing down. I guess it was from the Groundlings working with
Balderdash.
Master Thespian and The Liar. He came in with those two. And
Yeah.
Yes. Jealous.
Yeah.
Jealous.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a star.
Now, is Downey, when you're on there with him, are you buddies or you just meet him there?
We had met doing Weird Science, David. And
that's right. Weird Science. Woo.
He was in there. Yeah, man.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And so I was we had become good friends, and we actually wrote a script together along with his father, the great Downey Sr.
Mm-hmm.
It was around that time. And then, yeah, I mean, it came up that I got the show, and I spoke to Robert, and I was able to help him with his audition. And then Lauren loved him, and again, it was at Burlstein Gray, over there.
He
The
does
old
have
office.
star quality. And
Yeah.
so did he have a good time? You guys all, I mean, was it fun doing it? It just didn't work out, or was it just all like you knew, shit, this is an uphill battle?
I think it was all the above, David. It was fun. It was an uphill battle. I mean, it's a very competitive atmosphere, as you guys know, with writers, but the whole process of doing the show was amazing, man. You come in on a Monday, as you guys know and remember, and all the sketches had to be delivered by Wednesday, and then you're rehearsing around the clock, man, from Thursday on. So just you got to be all in, man. Even if things aren't hitting with the audience, and you really won't know until it's live anyway. So it's hard to.
Sure.
How did the competitive thing come to you? Just at read through. I mean, it is competitive, but it's also camaraderie. It's both. But
yeah, I think maybe I felt it, Dana, just because I was such a young kid, and you know how it is. I think comedians can be. I think both things. There's a very kind of fraternal, brotherly aspect to comics with each other, but also they can be kind of cutthroat, especially when somebody's on stage and the other comics are at the bar heckling them or whatever.
Yeah,
I know. We're all little wounded children inside somewhere, and if there's a shiny object, you're like sort of Schadenfreude,
nice.
Yeah, we're mangled, beat
up. Okay. So, I'm trying to guess what Dennis Miller's nickname. He would never call you.
Was
Anthony.
he there?
Yeah. Okay.
He was. Yeah.
Oh my God!
You knew him so well. I feel like I'm with him again when I hear you doing it.
I got a couple nickel. Come on. Hey, Ant Man, what are you doing this week? Okay. You got something pithy to update? You and the Downey cat will get up there and kind of put your wares out for the American public to consume. Okay, Sparky?
That's it. That's
it. You read through, you got nothing.
Right. Oh no, he was like that. He was the running commentary, and always like in a golfer's tone, right? Like he'd just whisper it to you.
Yeah,
I like that. About the seventh show, he's like, Spudley saw read through. Oof, out of bullets already.
Hey, it's the attack of the 3 named cast members: Anthony Michael Hall and Robert Downey Jr. Anybody thinking about dropping that middle one and having a?
We're going to hire Maria Conchito Alonso.
You remind me of Vinny Licknick, the shortstop for the Dodgers in circa 1957. How do I remind you of that? I don't know. Just a pissy.
What about that you beat out Jim Carrey in 16 Candles? Is that true? Jim Carrey, that little twerp?
Yeah. I know. Everybody's a little twerp to you, Spade, huh? What's going on?
How was he? He must have been about 11.
So you beat him out for 16, and I beat him out for SNL.
Way after the fact. I've always loved Jim. I love his work.
He's Jim. A genius on many levels.
No, he is. No, I didn't know about it at the time, but I actually used to see Jim at the Laker games when Dr. Buss was still with us, and I love Jim Carrey. No, I didn't know about that at the time, but I guess he was in the running. Yeah.
He auditioned for SNL when I was there too.
I auditioned for In Living Color, and guess who beat me out? Jim Carrey.
I have a funny story.
White guy.
I have a funny story for you guys. How Damon Wayans got fired from SNL, and Damon, forgive me for this, but it was really funny. Griffin Dunn, who you guys had on recently,
yes,
right?
Yeah,
great guy. I worked with him on this movie War Machine with Brad Pitt. Not to drop names around there, but here's one.
Sure, Bradley.
So basically, the sketch was a Miami Vice sketch, and it was 85, 86. So it was like that time of when Miami Vice, they were on the cover of Time magazine, the whole thing. So Damon was going to be playing, was it Crockett or Tubbs? I can't remember. And Griffin was playing the Don Johnson role.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a running joke with Damon, which was he was a supporting player at the time, right? He hadn't made it into the cast. So every time I would see Damon in the hallway, I would go, February, because that was the time for sweeps, and then Lauren would make decisions, and maybe he would be up to be, brought into the cast. So it'd be February was our running joke. But anyway, he came on live and did this sketch. It was obviously a Miami Vice setup, but he wound up doing it like the character he did on Living Color, like very gay and effeminate.
Hey, yeah.
Right, exactly. But he didn't tell Lauren or anybody else, so he promptly got fired.
Yeah.
He just did it live, and I think it threw everybody off. I don't know if Griffin was pissed off, but I think Lauren was. So anyway, that led to his firing. But then again, he wound up on Living Color, so Damon's great.
Where were you standing when that happened?
Were you around?
Were you in 8H watching the sketch live and going, "Holy shit"?
Yeah. I think I was probably like in the hallway there, guys, that we often filmed.
Yeah.
Where they would shoot stuff.
The funny thing is,
audience.
I know you're a cast member, but another funny part is, back then, even when I was there, if your friends or anybody come, they can go stand 3 feet from Kurt Cobain and watch and just stare, because there's no security really anywhere. Everyone just walks around, and Phil Hartman's running through, and he can't get to his quick change, and people are spilling their red cups, and you're like, everyone there shouldn't be right here. You shouldn't be part of the show. They're literally like 1 foot away from the sketch. Very odd. I think they've probably cleaned that up.
Did you have some moments that, like, because I remember Neil Young, I'll just give my one. He was playing something acoustic, and I wandered around, and I was like 5 feet from him, and it was like, that's Neil Young, and it's just kind of mind blowing. Did you have some of those with music guests or with guest hosts? I don't.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, the season opener was Madonna. That was a trip because Madonna was, top of the world then. She was gorgeous.
Oh, shit.
So I was kind of freaked out by working with Madonna. She was incredible, had great energy and charisma.
Of course.
But musically, like when George Clinton and Parliament Funkadelic played, Data. There were so many moments where you're mind blown. You're like, what the hell am I a part of? It was really incredible.
Yeah.
Dane, I did a movie with George Clinton, just FYI. It's not Brad Pitt, but
who haven't you worked with, David?
I think I've hit up most of SAG at this point. and pieces of AFTRA.
Right on.
We had Roy Orbison was on my first season.
Wow.
And he's the Roy Orbison, but it was people forget and stuff. And he comes out, he sings like an angel. If he looked like Elvis, he would have been the biggest person. Yeah. And I remember at the party, Lauren going, the thing about tonight's show was Roy Orbison. You tend to forget, and then you see it and you remember.
I love it.
I go, did you just think of that, Lauren?
No, your Lauren is impeccable. I mean, he's incredible, man. I learned so much watching Lauren. It was incredible. I remember he took us to a Yankee game, me and Downey, and when he was with Nicholson. So we went with Lauren.
Nicholson.
Okay, let's hear this story. Lauren Nicholson.
No, it's not a big story, but it was just like he took us to a Yankee game. It's like, we're going to be going. I can't do Lauren, but we're picking up Jack, and then I'll get you and Downey, and then anyway, we went up to the Bronx.
That's good.
I think, I think Jack. I learned from you, didn't I? I think he shook about 500 hands on the way to our seats, but it was pretty great. Just having moments like that.
I had one. Can I tell mine? It's 10 seconds. So I go, and it's Chevy and Lauren and I, and then this is 86, so I'm all blown away over the whole thing. And then Chevy goes, "Hey, you want to meet Mike Tyson?" Because Mike Tyson was sitting way down toward the field. And you want to come with me and meet Mike Tyson? So we're wandering through the crowd, and it's peak Chevy.
Oh my God.
Chevy. I hadn't been on TV at that point. So we met Mike Tyson. Yeah, you guys look great. I love them. If you want to go to the park later, we could do the seesaw. I like seesaws.
Push me a swing.
It's all a word. If you can say seesaw as Mike Tyson, you have him.
You're 98%.
Word and you're there. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Seesaw.
So,
wait, did you have a crush like I did on Beverly D'Angelo and still do?
Oh yeah, that guy. I was on Rich Eisen's show the other day, and I told that story. I was basically got caught by Maddie Simmons. Well, I got caught when they were doing the Psycho spoof scene where Chevy comes to the shower and he's waving a banana at her. And of course, a 14-year-old me snuck on the set, and I was watching because she went topless there, even though it was a closed set. So my dumbass was busted by Maddie Simmons, who was also there. The producer of the show. But yeah, so Beverly was great. She was a lot of fun. She still is. She's a fun lady.
Oh, she's great.
What starlet did you lose your virginity with?
Go ahead.
Come on.
Just give me the first 5.
You don't have to answer that. I'm just thinking teenage hormones, movie star.
Kelly LeBrock, who else?
Dana, you know how it is. I don't want to.
No, you don't have to say anything, but let's just suffice to say you were getting really, really famous as a horny teenager. And we don't even know what happens to that. But like Mickey Rooney told me a long time ago, money makes you handsomer.
This is true.
Yeah. No, we won't go into it, but let's suffice to say that you
did just fine.
How about Spade, though? I heard he has a bevy of ladies knocking
Spade?
at the door.
Oh,
I will tell you that the
good one.
The dating spiked up a little bit when I got some fame, and it really was flatlining until then. It literally 0. So I do think that there's a little extra special sauce when you have something, because girls like whatever. Anyway,
well, you learn a lot about human nature, not
Yeah.
just girls, but human nature. Because I was on a
Yes.
sitcom in 1981 in New York with Mickey Rooney and Nathan Lane, and they played me as the teen idol because I had a baby face. So I got 600 letters that year from teenage girls. Shows canceled. Next year, I checked the mailbox. Nothing.
Oh, wow.
So a good lesson in show business.
Show business can be a beating, as we discussed earlier. Yeah.
Anthony, before I get to trigger warning, I do want to ask you that when you were on SNL, and you might not remember that year, but it says here,
A gentleman.
now this will be wrong because anything we look up on someone is wrong, but you will have to be assigned impressions on SNL, right? Were they easy for you? Were they hard? Did you do anyone? Do you have anyone left in the tank?
You know what? We did a sketch with Madonna that first episode, and I think the joke was all of her supposed famous lovers kept walking in on her. So I came in as Robert Kennedy, I think. And Downey was either Elvis. I don't know who Downey was playing. Anyway, it was pretty funny. So I did my best, my best Kennedy. It sounded more like John F. Kennedy, but I think I was playing Robert. But
Wait, that's what I
do for you.
Oh, was it Bobby or was it Little John John?
I think maybe Downey was playing JFK and I was Bobby, and then then Randy came in as Elvis at the end. And the idea is we kept interrupting, their personal time.
Well, I would have done that. I would have done just a big Kennedy accent, rather than specifically trying to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Just
well,
make it sound.
Boston, so it's an easy thing. I know that sound well, so it's easy to.
Can we hear a little more? Because I was thinking about some of.
Well,
Spade's
JFK
movies.
was asked not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country.
Yeah,
not that. I mean, I'm in the presence of a master here. I can't really.
No, not at all. It's all words. The best one to do, John F. Kennedy, is ending with hard. We don't do it because it's easy. We do it because it's hard. Hard. Yeah, and you can't abstract it enough. Hard.
Hard. Yeah.
So Randy Quaid was there, but was Randy Quaid in Vacation with you? Am I crazy?
He was Cousin Eddie. Remember we go see the.
So that's the same one. Okay, good. Yeah, he was great in that.
Yeah.
So you're and you guys get along on SNL, or is it just sort of whatever, and then you go, oh shit, we're in the same movie.
I saw Randy recently.
Oh wait, you were in the movie first. Oh my God, how stupid.
Right. No, well, I saw Randy recently, but around the time we did SNL, I remember him walking up to me one day and he was like, I think you really should learn your lines. And I was thinking, like, we got a whole team of crew card people.
Yeah, what the fuck? He tells you to learn your lines.
Learn your lines?
I remember.
They changed the line at 10:45.
Right.
How am I going
I'm like, don't we have a team of people with Sharpies underneath the blue?
Yeah, 11:28, they changed the line. They changed it during update before your next sketch. Right. They're running to the set with you going, okay, you're green on the cards, but also the middle's different and the ending's a little tighter. And I'm like, oh, is it on there? Okay, 3, 2.
Right. They're like, go.
Yeah.
Well, there it is.
Terrifying.
Well, how is Randy Quaid? Because The Last Detail is one of my favorite movies that he did with Jack Nicholson. This ain't no horse's cock. I mean, it's just incredible. Check it out.
He's a great actor. No, I was happy to see him. I saw him last year and we caught up and he's doing great, man.
Does he do Comic-Cons and stuff like that? You see him out there?
He does, man.
That's good. Those things are lucrative. I know a lot of people that do them.
They are. And they're fun too, man. They're fan.
You meet everybody. They have a ton of shit they've collected over the years.
Yeah, man. That's fun.
Do you guys actually come out on stage, like say the Brat Pack or whatever your era, those big movies, and they go crazy, right? You come out, they're introduced, and the crowd goes crazy.
Well, depending on the size of the show, those things are usually worked into it. Yeah, they have little panels and panel discussions with bands. So that's and that's fun.
So you can go solo and just do it like a booth, or you could do more together. I think I was talking to Brittany Daniel about doing Joe Dirt with her because it's if you have any more of one movie or show, it help. It's just more people come up. So
right on. Yeah,
but there's some are pretty organized, and if they're good and they're well organized, they're probably fun for everybody.
They are, man. You said it. So I've done some. I mean, it's a trip. Suddenly, I have a bunch of movies that are 40 years old or this or that. So we've done a bunch of them in recent years. Reunions. It's a trip.
Oh, like a reunion. Fun.
Yeah. But you're right, Spade. We do both. I do them solo, and then I do the reunion stuff when it comes up.
Sure.
Yeah, why not?
Who's the person of this era that we're talking about and all these actors you've worked with that just made you laugh the most or that you had a connection with in terms of what's funny? Or even when you do these reunions, usually there's somebody who has an attitude that will make you laugh. I don't know.
Well, a couple of guys I mentioned, Chevy's hilarious. I mean, he's fun. He's doing well. His health is good. You know, he's doing
That's
well.
good to hear.
Judd is a lot of fun. Judd is a really funny guy. Downey, you know, he doesn't do the shows, but he's a lot of fun to work with. I mean, he's always been great. He doesn't need the money now, right? The bastard.
Fuck. If I had his money, I'd throw mine away.
You mean the guy from Oppenheimer?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, but he's a great guy. To his credit, Robert has always been true blue, man. He's a great guy, you know.
He's
loyal. Some documentary I watched, it said something great about money. And the guy said in this documentary, said, money's like Miracle Grow. If you're a good guy, it'll make you a nicer guy. If you're an asshole, it'll make you a bigger asshole.
True. It sounds really true.
I'm going to use that. So there's a couple interesting things because I'm, and you can speak to them any way you want. Like, obviously, I'm a Kubrick fanatic, like a lot of people, and the Beatles, but, you know, Kubrick is Kubrick. I get why Kanye West said, hey, man, I'm Kubrick, because that's the ultimate artist. So you were going to be in Full Metal Jacket.
Right.
And then somehow it didn't work out. Is that a hard memory to come up with, or is it just sort of an interesting?
No, I think it's an interesting, you know,
Did you meet him? Did you meet Stanley Kubrick?
I didn't. What happened was I was shooting Weird Science at the time. This is 84. And I was at, Weird Science. And I got a call from my agent at the time, a guy named Marty Bauer, who's since deceased. He was a great guy. And he said, Stanley Kubrick is doing a Vietnam epic and he's interested in you playing one of the platoon members. And then I got a call 2 days later from Marty saying he wants you for the lead and he's going to call you tomorrow. So that was like mic drop, phone drop.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So then I'm up at 7 a.m. the next day. I was staying at the Sheraton Premiere at the top of next to Universal City there. Yeah. And I pick up the phone and the phone rings and I was just scared shitless. But he had a very approachable, very kind of warm, friendly voice. And he immediately, you know, he paid me a great compliment. You know, he had said he had seen me in 16 Candles. He had screened it 3 times. I was just like in awe. And he said that I was his favorite actor he'd seen since Jack and Easy Rider.
Wow,
so that's what
like, that's
what
right now.
That's when I kind of sharded on myself a little bit. So I was just amazed. And it was interesting. He started talking about, you know, his favorite directors, Eisenstein, the Russian director, Chaplin. It was a really interesting discussion, you know.
Wow.
And ultimately what unfolded, guys, was it was like a 10-month negotiation and we just couldn't come to terms. So it was a really difficult, challenging thing. You know, ultimately it did not work out. And then I wound up running into Matthew Modine 2 years later.
Who played the lead, so-called lead.
Right. He played the lead, the Joker. And I asked him, I said, how long did you guys shoot Full Metal Jacket for? He goes, 54 weeks. I was like, what? 54-week shoot. So he was methodical, to say the least, man. He would shoot a picture for that long, man. It's amazing.
I talked to a guy who worked on Eyes Wide Shut, and he said that Kubrick and the cinematographer worked on where a coffee cup might be near a lamp for 2 hours. So there's the genius has this thing. I'm just have to ask because I'm curious. Months and months of negotiation. So you were probably at that point, from your agent's point of view, very pricey, and they just wouldn't come to the price, or was it scheduling?
Yeah, the time on set.
It was both. It was all three of those things, Dave. You mentioned it, right? I mean, it was the actual terms of the agreement. It was the length of the negotiation, and like you said, the time on set. And it was a difficult choice to make, guys. It really was. But to this day, like we had said at the outset, I mean, I love Kubrick. I still think about him, and I love his movies, and I rewatch them. And just incredible. Just to even have that exchange with him was a real gift.
Well, he probably couldn't give you a hard out, and then I'm guessing, and then. You think it's such an honor, but you're like, shit, I could be there forever and I'm going to miss out 2 other movies because this isn't a 3-month or a 10-week deal. This is like forever and ever. Yeah.
You said it, David. It was also the thing of like what he was willing to pay me was like, it was representative of what I would earn in
it's
a couple
favor.
months. It's
like,
an honor. For a year, come and make the same money. So I hate to make it about that. It wasn't just about that, but that was an element.
I got it. I mean, if you read about, and I was just watching it the other night, Apocalypse Now. Cute, an adorable film, really cute, but
a lot of fun.
That was difficult for Martin Sheen.
Yeah,
I know. Brando is just Brando. My God, and Martin Sheen was so amazing in that film. But I think it took him 2 years or something. I don't know. They went back. He had a heart attack. They shut down. So, yeah, maybe it was just not the moment for that.
Anthony, my Apocalypse Now was Emperor's New Groove. It was a Disney movie, and that went on for 3 years. But they also, I didn't get paid much, and that was the same thing. I was like, and they were like, well, it's an honor to do it for Walt Disney. And I was like, oh, and then I think I see Mike Myers a year later. He's like, oh, I'm getting X amount of millions for Shrek. I go, oh, we've tweaked it a little bit. So now you do get paid. So you're allowed to get paid for animation. And I go, oh, I'm the last guy that did it on the cheap because it was such an honor.
Right.
Even though I love the movie, I hate.
Well, you've had a great career, man. You always keep showing up, and
look at that's what I was getting at. Thank you.
Touring, selling out all over the country.
No kidding, Dana. I have a question for you about Mike and your time because I love the whole Wayne's World period.
Yeah, sure.
Tell me when did it become known that Mike was doing a friendly imitation of Lauren as Dr. Evil? Was that kind of planned, or was that something that just happened?
I had not seen him in a couple of years, and I wasn't in that movie. We just, I kind of left the show at 93. So then Austin Powers came out in 97, and it was like a brilliant adaptation of the Lorne Michael character to make him a villain. So but I didn't know that
playing Wayne's World, but I just always thought it was so funny that he wound up choosing, kind of when you see those movies now, it's clearly that he's doing Lorne like you do. I mean, you guys
more people know Lorne now, and I think more people can put it together. Yeah,
right.
But if you're with someone every day like that, you make fun of people are around you. You're based on your family, your friends. So seeing Lorne every day,
and people who, if you break the code, which I think I did, it sounds self-congratulatory, but at least Dennis and Lovitz had never heard it. No one was running around in 85 doing it as far as I knew. So then I broke the code with him in the office going, on Wednesday night, picking the sketches. I still have no fucking first act. And that led me into it. And then within 18 months or a couple years, all humans on 17th floor had a version of that, and then the different hooks that Lorne would do and all that. So, but Mike putting it in
people
a
doing
movie.
Chris Walken. A lot of people do Chris Walken.
Were you in Dead Zone? Was Christopher Walken in the movie Dead Zone? Am I just thinking of that?
He was. Yeah, he was. He was. That was the original David Cronenberg film.
I want to work up to that, but I just have a couple things I want you just to touch on, if you don't mind.
Please.
Because I love Tim Burton. So you were in Edward Scissorhands, and you played a villain, and you worked with Tim Burton. Any thoughts about Tim Burton? That was
Tim Burton?
Quirky.
Yeah, no, he was incredible, man. First of all, he looks like he always reminded me of remember that band in the 80s, The Cure? He had the hair, and he was a very kind of quiet, low key guy. But again, when he comes to work, he just springs to life. He was a really interesting guy. I think he's incredible, man. Like you look at the work he's done, his films are just artistic, and they have that, he's a master, I think. So Scissorhands is actually kind of funny because, he grew up in Burbank. He was a student of animation. And you look at that film, Vincent Price was his favorite actor. Story-wise, it's somewhere to me between like Romeo and Juliet and Pinocchio. I mean, it's just imagination.
Yeah, Pinocchio I could see for sure with Johnny Depp doing his first quirky Johnny Depp.
Yeah, exactly. And that was their first collaboration. So I was pumped. That was back in 1990. I remember taking a meeting with Tim, and I think he just found it kind of funny and odd that I had such a growth spurt that suddenly I looked like some, crazy villain to him. And I kind of dwarfed Johnny at the time. He was a smaller guy. So, he put me in the movie, and next thing you know, we're in Tampa sweating our asses off, and we shot Scissorhands. Fun.
So did you ever say, hey, slow down, Depp? I'm Anthony Michael Hall. Heard of me?
No, never any of that shit. No.
No, I'm kidding.
Any of that shit.
None of that shit. Okay, this one also I thought was interesting. 93, you went and did he disappear?
Did he leave? Tony?
Hello?
He hung up on us. Couldn't even get to trigger warning. He's had enough. He's had enough of you.
He's fun. Biden's doing a press conference.
Oh, is there a press conference? Let me see, Dan. I'll turn on the TV.
Zelensky and Biden. Yeah, we'll give them missiles just enough so they can keep the war going, but not enough so they can ever win.
That's funny.
Okay, there we go. I'm sorry. My apologies.
Not at all. You're not the first. You're not the worst. You're the greatest. I don't know why that didn't rhyme. We were just Biden's having a press conference with Zelensky right now. So
interesting.
Yeah, and the quote from Biden was, "How does the people on the spam?" So I thought it was well said. Good night.
Yeah, we talked about trigger warning. We went over the whole thing, so we don't have to talk about that again. No, I'm kidding.
Trigger warning.
No, Mike, for the folks at home, he accidentally unplugged his computer, but he's back.
He said, I've had just about enough, and then we didn't see him anymore. no, this
Can
is
you guys hear me?
technical issue.
I can hear you now. Yeah.
So I
Okay,
found
great.
this
Sorry.
interesting, because no one keeps track of everybody, all the work they're doing, but you're in 6 Degrees of Separation, kind of Will Smith's big breakout dramatic role, and you
Right.
play his gay lover, and then they're in the script. Well, why don't you take it from there and then tell us about Denzel Washington calling him?
Oh yeah, that was kind of funny. So I remember auditioning for that, and I read for another role, and then Fred Skepsey, he was a character. He looked like Gerard Depardieu. He was a very funny Australian guy, had a great sense of humor. He said, "Try this other part," and then I came back and auditioned for that role, and I play this kind of Svengali, this guy who leads Will's character to the upper echelons of the Upper East Side New Yorker.
Yeah. I saw
elite,
the movie. Great.
So that was that. Yeah. And then I remember when we did that scene where we were kissing, I mean, we didn't actually kiss in the scene. It was just a little camera leaning fake thing. But I remember seeing Will on Oprah, and he made quite a to-do of it, how he called Denzel. And and it kind of led to an Oprah story, which I thought was pretty funny. But anyway.
And Denzel kind of said
slap, right? I mean,
Denzel said it's not a good look to kiss a man for your career. This is the early 90s on camera. Right. I think that's what Denzel said. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I just think, I forget what Denzel's quote was, but listen, it was a great experience. It was a fun project to be a part of. And I think I got some Oscar nominations. So
it was big. And Will Smith was great in that. I mean, it was really fun. And then you you've directed for the first time, not the last time in 94, you did Hail Caesar for Showtime.
Yeah.
So that you've taken all the expertise you'd learned at the heels of a lot of great directors. So,
right.
And you've done a lot of that.
I had fun with that. And I got Sam Jackson in that, and Downey showed up, and it's a fun movie. It was goofy, but it was fun to shoot. And it was a quick one. We shot it in about 5 weeks. Yeah.
I nominate Samuel L. Jackson as the greatest American movie star of the last 30 years. Because when you add up all he's done, and then
definitely
he's
made the
Marvel,
most money.
He's in all the Tarantino films. So one thing that was really cool, and you got a lot of kudos for, playing Bill Gates in Pirates of Silicon Valley. We're just marching along here. Did you try to affect a character in that at all, or it was just played kind of yourself? But did you play smart?
You know what? On that one, I was. They hired a great coach for me. This guy named Steve Bridgewater, who had worked with Pitt and Depp and some other people, and we worked on the voice. And he did the funniest thing. One of the first sessions we have, he pulled out a legal pad. He said, "We're going to set some goals here." He goes, the first thing he asked me, "Do you want people to see you or Gates?" I said, "Gates." And the second thing I said, "What's your next goal?" I said, "I'd love the film to be nominated for Emmys." I'm just like pulling it out of my ass. I didn't know. I was just like, all right. So it ultimately was nominated. But the funny thing he did is he pulls out a tampon he'd gotten from his wife. He starts cutting it up in front of me. And he pulls out a little piece of the cotton, which is like a giant Q-tip. He goes, "Stick this up your nose and see if this helps to get to that kind of Kermit the Frog voice."
Oh, wow.
There's actually scenes in Pirates of Silicon Valley years later where I actually had a piece of a tampon up my nose. Very nice. So
I have one right now.
It was a fun project. It was interesting. It was about the battle for software at the time. And Noah Wiley from ER, you guys will remember, he played Steve Jobs. Oh, yeah. He really looked like Steve Jobs too.
Oh yeah, he did.
It was a fun project, man. It was a lot of fun.
Damn.
Yeah.
And then you star for 5 years, The Dead Zone.
Yeah.
Science fiction.
I never thought I'd have a show. It was a lot of fun. It was a great role. It cracked me up though, because I never had a day off. I was, even when I'm in a vision, I'm watching everybody. So I kind of was there all the time. But it was a great experience, man. It really pushed me as an actor.
It's funny. 5 years goes by quick. Suddenly you're like, are we going to get canceled? Are we doing this? And suddenly 5 years later, you're like, I'm still doing this.
Right. You've had that experience. You've had a lot of his shows.
I've had that with shows.
It takes you off guard, and it's a happy surprise.
They don't know if they're picking it up, and then suddenly you keep going. That's great.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Now you got trigger warning with Jesse. Is it Jesse Alba in that?
Jessica Alba.
Netflix.
She's serious. She kicks ass in the film. Man.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
great.
I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking at the, not the trailer, but they're just showing stuff on it. Shit. This comes out June 21?
June 21st. Starts streaming on Netflix. Yeah, man.
I love the fact the actors and actresses who become moguls, they start companies like her, Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah.
It's very interesting, acclaimed, have great careers, but just go into business and fall in love with it. So she's kudos to her, man. I didn't think
I
I'd say
agree.
that. Yeah.
Here. Yeah, no, definitely. And her company co-produced the film. She's really on top of her game. She knows her stuff. She had a real background with action, so she's done a lot of the Robert Rodriguez films.
Oh
and her
yeah,
own series.
Dark Angel.
Dark Angel. Yeah, so she knows her stuff.
She's kind of a ball buster too. I mean, I see her out sometimes. She's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
she's
cool.
fun to
It was a
hang
good
out
experience. We
with.
shot in Santa Fe, which was fun. Never been to New Mexico before. It was pretty cool. It's near your
what are you?
home
What are
state,
you
Arizona
in this?
there?
Yeah, I'm from Arizona. Yeah, very similar.
Montana.
No applause.
Montana always wins because it's only 700,000 people. It's the size of Texas. I mean, there's no
Right
one
on.
up there because of the winter.
Where do you live now, Dana, with your family? Are you up north in Northern Cal? Or?
Central California, but
Okay.
I have a place in Northern California. Grew up there in the Bay Area.
Nice.
So yeah.
Yeah,
Where are you right now, Anthony Michael?
Yeah, where do you think you are?
You don't.
I
have
live
to
at home
say.
here in LA. Yeah, at the beach.
Oh,
Yeah, man.
I'm kind of curious. So, Reacher comes out. Have you already filmed it? I'm assuming.
Yeah, we just wrapped season 3 of Reacher, and I was in Toronto for 6 months. It's funny. It's a season that took a year. I just had my first kid last year. I have a new son, Michael.
Congratulations!
Thank you, sir.
What's his name?
Born,
Michael.
Yeah, he was born when we started, and then the strike happened. So this season wound up taking a year, but it was a lot of fun. Great action, great crew, and look, it's a juggernaut of a show. It's a big hit.
Huge, yeah.
I'm having fun with it, man. It was cool.
Did you throw punches in those episodes? Were you a villain? What's kind of your vibe?
No, I don't. I have some action stuff, but I have a bunch of I'm kind of a mobster in this season, and I have henchmen. I have there's this guy named Oliver Richters who's like 7'2". He's a giant, and he kind of takes on Reacher for me. So I got guys doing my dirty work.
Yeah.
Well, are there other? Is that what kind of role besides that? That sounds like a blast to have henchmen and be a badass.
Yeah. Well, it's based on one of the books that Lee Child wrote in the Reacher series. I guess there've been like 28 of these books, and it's a character called Zachary Beck. And on the surface, he's a wholesale rug dealer, but there's a lot. There's a lot more at play here. I can't give it away. I don't want to piss off Amazon, but
no, not at all. Yeah,
I'm in the whole season, man, and it was a lot of fun to shoot. We just wrapped it. They're actually shooting until next month, but I just finished a few weeks ago. Yeah.
Wow. So what would be your dream role if you were trying to go for an Academy? I mean, is there anything you haven't played? Do you want to put prosthetics on and I
think that'd be fun. I mean, seeing what Downey did in The Sympathizer, that was great. I told him he did some great work in that. It reminded me of like Peter Sellers and being there. I mean, in Strangelove, the kind of stuff he was doing. But The Sympathizer, so that would be fun. I'd love to get behind the camera too and direct some comedies. I'd love to work with Sandler if Spade could put in a word for us.
Yeah, let me talk to him.
Sabathoo.
I'll put
Adam hears all our podcasts at one point, but yeah, Sandler's he's a master of his domain.
He's incredible. He's incredible.
He knows how to make movies. Yeah,
and what a sense of decency. The fact that he's been so loyal to all you guys that came up together. It's really, really fantastic, man.
Yeah, he's sentimental about us. He really is. I mean, I think that the camaraderie, esprit de corps, whatever you want to call it, going through the sausage factory of 8H and.
Yeah.
If you're nice to people on the way up, they love you forever.
Yeah.
When you're nice to someone when they're nobody.
Yeah. I try to be nice to nobodies. Isn't that nice of me?
You're not self-congratulatory.
The king of all snark, David Spade.
I do. If there's paparazzi around, I'm always nice to everybody.
Yeah, okay, kid. Yeah, because Dennis would be snarky, but it was so funny, though. Okay, Spud.
Listen, I have a thing for Dennis. He helped me out a lot, and he was my favorite comic, so...
Right.
Did
he really call you Spudley?
Spudley. Right? Yeah, Spadoodle. Yeah.
He calls me Carvey. It never has called me Dana. Okay, Carvey, what's up today? All right. You got a little funny character you're working on, some kind of altered vision of yourself, some kind of Okay, sorry.
Sold my house, got a couple beans in my jeans.
Yeah, he's.
I love it.
Yeah, but we'll let you go. But just want to remind everyone of. Obviously, you've done a lot, and you're very nice, and you're very nice to everyone that's worked with you. You're very cool about that.
Great reputation.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Thanks, brother.
Trigger warning does look cool, and that's just coming up on the 21st. And it looks like there's some action. You got your Jessica Alba and Anthony Michael Hall. It looks like a lot of fun, and maybe some fighting. Looks like she's on the rampage in this.
Oh, she's kicking everyone's ass in this movie.
I love it. Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to it, buddy. I like these kind of movies.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, listen, it's an honor to be with you guys. I'm a big fan. I watch and listen weekly, so it's great to be with you guys, man. Thank you for the opportunity.
I'll just leave you with this. You came and got some.
Yeah.
Come get some.
you came and you got some.
You came and got some, and we got some.
Right on.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
To meet you.
All right, guys. Thank you so much, man.
Love
Great.
you, babe.
Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
This has been a presentation of Audacy. Please follow, subscribe, leave a like, a review, all this stuff. Smash that button, whatever it is, wherever you get your podcasts. Fly on the Wall is executive produced by Dana Carvey and David Spade, Jenna Weiss-Berman of Audacy, Charlie Finan of Brillstein Entertainment, and Heather Santoro. The show's lead producer is Greg Holtzman.